So I'm going to talk about while I use an e-cigarette and as I use a cell phone, the irony, as the washing machine is going on, I'm going to talk about how bad I am with technology and laugh about it. Because I am. I am. The guys at Geek Squad at Best Buy know how bad I am with technology. Yeah. I've told people before how, like, nature stuff like that. Yeah, I can do gardening, no problem. I learned the hard way. I cannot do indoor gardening. I learned the hard way. Can't do that. I'm the type of person who can do natural gardening out in nature. Like, for example, today I realized that I had done a few things I forgot I had done, and the rose bushes in the courtyard, they were kind of scraggly when I first moved in, and so I did a few things, and now they're all fluffy and full of leaves and flowers, and changed a couple of colors for some of them, and just do my thing. And I could do that. I in the ground, I can handle that stuff. I could do that stuff. I cannot do it in a pot. Learn that. I can kinda, ish, but not like the way I can in nature. Other people doing gardening and then me going nearby and doing my thing. Oh, I get it. There's a couple in Washington State that knows what I'm talking about. They saw the difference in their plants by far. It's just a thing. It's a natural thing. But so pre-head injury, I was fairly decent. I mean, I grew up in New Jersey in the 80s and 90s, so I was around. I learned how to do the techie stuff. I learned on a so at the house, my biological mother had an IBM DOS computer, and I could do that techie stuff. I learned at Asher Homes on Apple Mac computers. So that's like a complete, like the 80s and 90s Apple Macs. Like, I know that I'm dating myself, but that is what it is. And I didn't actually work with a Microsoft computer until I was in high school. That was the first time I worked with a Microsoft computer. But I had worked with a typewriter in between the Apple Macs and the Microsoft computers. So with that, you'd think, oh, tacky stuff. Then I had a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. And all that techie stuff that I could do really well, like really well, not so much. Not so much, no. I mean, where I could, like, do certain things energetically, like nature-wise, I was all the same. That kind of got strengthened in certain regards after my head injury. Well, I should say waking up from the coma and stuff. But with that, I had issues with technology. So at when it was medical hold before it became Warrior Transition Unit, I walked by this one tower that was for the desktop that Mark Spurry was working on, and I tripped. And I made the joke, I tripped over air. You know, like there was a little gust of wind, and I just, sorry. Well, apparently, whatever happened, there were some issues with the techie stuff. And I was no longer allowed to be near the techie stuff. Like at all. I wasn't allowed to be near that. And it got to the point where at medical hold, they were like, go work somewhere else. you go to the Navy. You know, just go to the Navy. And the Navy guys, the CO and the XO that I was working with, you know, they were, I was a secretary there, they were just like, because their secretary had gone on vacation, they were like, so we heard you had issues with technology. And I'm like, yes, I don't know what happened. They're like, so here's a typewriter. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And they were just like, oh, okay, you got no problem working with a typewriter? No, see? I'm transcribing whatever needs to be transcribed. What? What's up? You need to talk about something? Because the CO was over there, and then the XO's office was back there. Just, what do you need? Right? Okay. Hello? You know? So after getting out of medical hold, I told people I try to not have issues. I try to do what I can, so that way, you know, not a problem, not bothering anybody. I know. And then there was this time where I had gotten my Reiki 2 attunement, and I was like, and I know this sounds dumb. I get it. It sounds dumb. I talked with a whole bunch of people about this. One of the guys I spoke with about this was my teacher. And I was like, so I told him what happened. I was like, hey, Joe. And he was like, yeah. I was like, so, hypothetically speaking, and he goes, what did you do? Hypothetically speaking, what did you do? Hypothetically speaking, you know that Reiki stuff? And he's like, yes. You remember how in class for my Reiki 1 attunement, we talked about like some of the healing stuff I had done beforehand? Pun intended, because it's called laying of the hands. He's like, yeah. Like, hypothetically speaking, what would you say if hypothetically, just hypothetically, I was working on the laptop while being outside and smoking, and hypothetically, I was like, I felt something weird beyond just the issues that I have with technology, hypothetically speaking. And hypothetically, what would you say if hypothetically, as a probability, hypothetically speaking, what would you say if I felt like raking the computer? And he goes, don't do that. I'm like, okay, so hypothetically speaking, what would you say if I did it already? Hypothetically only. Hypothetically, if I hypothetically felt something weird from the techie stuff, and hypothetically was just like, well, you know, I'll just rake the computer. Hypothetically speaking, what would you hypothesize would occur? And Joe was like, well, probably, I don't know what happened. And I was like, well, hypothetically speaking, just hypothetically, you know, I'm just throwing this hypothesis out there that hypothetically speaking, I felt something weird from the laptop, and hypothetically speaking, I Reiki'd the laptop, and hypothetically speaking, I was smoking at the time because I was outside. Hypothetically, hypothetically. And hypothetically speaking, I thought that there was, because there was a cherry that was on the laptop, hypothetically, hypothetically speaking, I thought that hypothetically that the cherry was causing the smoke. So hypothetically, I went like that, just like that, but hypothetically. And then hypothetically, there were a whole bunch of flames that came out of the keyboard, and then out of the bottom, like it was out of the top and out of the bottom, and then I got fan blade patterns from the back part of the laptop in my flesh because it burnt my flesh hypothetically. And it took me a while before I could pick up the laptop because it was still flaming and still smoking, and hypothetically I had to wait for that to be able to like pick up the laptop and put it on the table. Hypothetically, what would you make of that? What would you if I were to say that hypothetically that occurred, what would your recommendation be? And Joe said, oh my God, you did what? Hypothetically, Joe. Just hypothetically speaking. But what would your recommendation be if I hypothetically did that? And he was quiet for a while, and then he went, oh my God, really? And I was like, so yeah. And so hypothetically speaking, what would your recommendation be? What would you recommend in a hypothetical situation like that? And he was just like, I have no idea. Oh my God. Have you ever thought about hematite? I was like, yeah, so hypothetically speaking, anytime I've ever worn hematite, it turns white. It's a pretty white, but it's white nonetheless. He was just like, oh, so you changed the color of stones? Yep! Hypothetically. I neither confirm nor deny that I hypothetically can change color stones very easily, with the exception of a few. Why? You could do what? Well, that was pre-head injury, but post-head injury, that kind of goes a little faster. Like pre-head injury, like, you know, my biological father would hand me stones, and I'd be like, so that one, and what are you planning on charging for that? Oh, let me make it actually worth that. Hold on. Okay, here you go. And so he was just like, Joe was like, so you can change stuff. Oh yeah, before that conversation or discussion, I had told him about that. But after that, I had changed the color of amber. I had changed amethyst. I changed quite a few different stones, and I even changed a few different stones. Like for example, I ordered a blue diamond off of eBay, and I was like, well, I could pay for that despite that because I could change that. And then I didn't get the stone I wanted, and I was like, well, I can do that and make it this, and then I'll send it back. And it, still, anyway, so before scuba diving, and so But so my issues with technology, I was like, so you have no recommendations and no idea. Oh my god, no, I have no idea. Oh my god, seriously. I'm like, yeah, so okay, so then I was absolutely petrified. I was so scared because it was my now dead ex-husband's laptop, and I thought that maybe like Joe could like tell me something to do to fix it to get the dissertation off of there, because that was a bad situation. So thankfully, ironically, there was the mailboxes were on my property for my house in San Antonio, and ironically, when I go out to the mailbox, I'm just like, hey, and one of the guys getting his mail, he goes, "You okay?" I'm like, "Oh, do you know anything about technology?" And the guy kind of laughed and he's like, "Yeah, I kind of might know a thing or two about technology. Do you know anything about technology and energy?" And the guy just kind of, "What do you mean?" So I explained my head injury and stuff like that. And he was just like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." And so then, have you ever heard of Reiki? And he was like, that woo-woo stuff. Yeah, I know some people have issues with it, but I've been doing energy stuff before my head injury. So, and then he was just like, "Oh, okay. Oh my God. Okay, what?" And I was like, so, like, I tried to Reiki the computer because there was something weird, and I was just trying to, like, and then, like, I don't want to get in trouble. Like, it's going to be really, really bad. Do you think you can fix it? And he was just like, oh my God. And I was like, the only thing that's important on there right now is the dissertation. Like, that's it. Like, that, like, you would literally be saving my life. I can't put it into words, but you would literally be saving my life. And he was just like, yeah, oh my God, you're kidding. I'm like, it's not a joke. Like, I can't really fully explain, but like, you know, I've always been, you know, I've always been really, really nice to techie guys before my head injury, but like, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, this is like a little bit of a background, but like, you think you could help me out on that? And he was like, you know what, I usually charge, like, he rattled off the number and he was like, because this kind of feels a little different, like, I forgot what he charged, and I was just like, I like, you don't know how much it would really mean to me for that. And he goes, you'll just promise me you'll always be nice to techie guys. And I was like, I was always nice to techie guys beforehand. I protected techie guys beforehand. There is not a problem on that. And he was just like, okay, so you'll always be nice to, unless there's a reason to not be nice. And he's like, well, yeah, there are those that, yeah, that's not a problem. I'm like, okay. And so, like, he took the laptop, dealt with what I dealt with, and he got the dissertation of that laptop, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, you don't understand. Thank you so much. And so then after that, like, the amount of issues that I had was not really realistically documented from that point until I got my first laptop myself. And I didn't get my first laptop until like 2000, and I mean for me, like I got my own. And I got it from Best Buy. I got the accidental warranty, and I didn't even have it a whole year. And like, not a whole year. And I took it into the Geek Squad guys, and you know, the guy looked at me, and this was the first one, And he goes, so, let me really quickly pause that. So I'm standing in line, and I'm watching some blonde, bimbo, dumb, whatever. I know how to, and I'm like, then why are you going to Geek Squad? If you know how to do all that stuff, why are you talking to the Geek Squad guy like that? If you know all that stuff about techie stuff, why are you talking to him like that? You wouldn't be going to Geek Squad if you knew what you were doing. So why you gotta talk to him like that? Alright. And then like the guy behind me, the big tall guy, is like, I'm in line. I already have the puppy dog. So that female leaves, and then I go up, and I'm like, so you want to take a break? Like, couple minutes, go breathe. Really? Like, yeah. You're gonna need a few minutes with this one, so go ahead. Go take a break. Well, the guy behind me was like, oh, what? You want what? I said it. And you. I go, oh, okay. I said he could take a break. And the Techie Geek Squad guy goes, I'm gonna go take a break. She said I could take a break. I was like, yeah, that's right. I'll hold the line. What? Did not matter in the state of Texas. It was just, what? What you gonna do? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's right. So the Geek Spot guy comes out and he's like, okay, thank you. I had to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, that's fine. And he's like, oh, you're not bothered by that? It's a human thing that happens. So, here. And he looks at the laptop and he goes, well, what's wrong with it? And I go, it does this weird thing. And he goes, what does it do? I said, well, when I turn it on, it makes like a TV screen instead of, like, have you ever seen rabbit ear television stuff? And he goes, I think I've seen it in a movie. I'm like, okay, so that's what it does. So watch. And so I pushed the button, and it was just like the little squiggly lines. Like if you move the rabbit ears and stuff, it was just the squiggly lines. I'm like, here you go. I don't know what happened. Like I turned it on, and it did that. And he was like, it's usually supposed to be one color. I was like, yeah, well, that's what it's doing. So what do I do? Like, how do I fix it? And he goes, that's where the insurance comes into play. And I'm like, oh, okay, here. What do I do now? And he was like, you're not going to yell at me that I'm going to, no, because, like, I don't know what's wrong with it. So, like, I'm not going to, and I had already told him about the head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. He's just like, oh, okay. Oh, my God, okay. So, and the guy that was in line, he's like, don't yell at me. Please don't yell at me again. So then, he took the laptop and he's like, so it's gonna be a couple weeks. And I was just like, oh, okay. So you guys will call me, let me know. He's like, you're not mad? I'm like, well, it needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. And he's just like, okay, yeah. So you're not mad at me? I don't know what happened, so here. Like, I'm not going to be like that female and be like, blah, blah, blah. So, I changed here. So that happened a whole bunch of times. So from 2006 all the way to 2013, I went through like 13 different laptops. And that's what happened. With different things for different times. But yeah, just completely. Never got one back. Because, like, completely just issues. don't know what happened, but like they could not figure it out. So I had to get a new laptop. So alright then, I got a new laptop then. That's glad I got the insurance. It replaced that. Cool. Up until, Washington State, where they were like, yeah, so you broke so many that, you can't use the Geek Squad anymore. And I was like, oh, but how am I going to get a laptop? Like, I cannot be in this area. I don't know what's wrong, but I know that there's something wrong, and I don't know what's wrong, and I can't, which is probably really, really good, because, like, they probably realized something that I didn't understand, like prophecy stuff, and so I was just like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong, but like I'm being electrocuted so much right now, it hurts. I don't like it. Like, it hurts really, 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 really bad. Just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't like it. And so, I don't understand what's going on, but it's not okay because it hurts a lot. And so, but, I get it. So, I didn't throw a fit in the store. I wasn't going to be one of those people. And so, there was the guy that, told me the news, and he was like, oh, well, I'm from India, and we're doing this research thing. And I'm like, no. I signed the dotted line for the United States of America's Armed Forces. I have done enough guinea pig stuff. I'm not willing to be a guinea pig anymore. Okay? Not going to be a guinea pig for you. And my now ex-boyfriend, but then boyfriend, he spoke with that guy, and he was going to ITT Tech after that. And I was like, yeah, I realize now, but at that time I didn't realize, obviously. And so it was just one of those, okay, so when in Washington State, and then starting my Medal of Honor art project, after writing the first 8 books that I wrote, I wound up going to, or while I was writing the 8 different books, I already almost finished the first 2. It was the last portions of the first 2 books that were about ready. And so I started my Medal of Honor art project trip stuff while finishing up the first 2 books. And then in between the next phases is when I wound up getting those published and through the Library of Congress and stuff like that. And so, then there was some stuff throughout the times that I realized was going on, and then CID at JBLM was like, oh, you need to contact the Pentagon. Oh, okay. And not in a sarcastic way. It's like, oh, okay, if that's, apparently, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do, okay. Sure. And then, the Tacoma police were like, yeah, go talk to the FBI. I was like, oh, okay. Now it's kind of like, okay, that's normal, I guess, for me. I don't know. I guess. And so, going along with the techie stuff, I was like, okay, well, after dealing with the people, those people and as in November 2008, those, cherubim, I was like, okay, I need to get out. Like, I need to leave. Like, it's not kosher anywhere near those people, biologically only. And so, whatchamacallit, I started going to the Port of Tacoma and speaking with the seal puppy dogs. And it was funny because they're not techie, but like I was in Washington State and near Seattle, so that's like, Mr. and Mrs. Gates and like Mr. Bezos and like Mr. Zuckerberg. Like there's a bunch of like tech guys, and so like it'd be funny. So, I drove up to this one area and I'd go out there and I'd ooh, and it was funny because all of the seal puppy dogs, like they'd be ooh, talking, and a few times they would just be like ooh, ooh, and so I get out there and I'm like ooh, 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 and the poopy dogs would just ooh, 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 and they'd be running their mouth and talking and stuff like that, and it'd just be funny if those guys wound up hearing like where where is that coming from? How? What? 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 The seal puppy dogs are just talking with her. I mean, they probably didn't say seal puppy dogs, but that's my word. And so, so then after able to get away from Ennis in November 2008-ish, I was like, well, I'll go down to state of Texas and get those guys those information stuff and and while I'm there, I'm go swimming in the water. It's been a while. Go swam at Clear Spring Scuba Bar, just tested myself a few different ways, and then went down to San Antonio. I was like, hey, FBI guys, let me fill out this form to give you like what I can, and I have memory issues, so I didn't realize that I needed to type up what I needed to type up, which I did. And I was like, yeah, so then later on, like much later, I was like, oh, here you go. Here's some books, and hopefully this helps. Yeah, I know it's a little jumbled, but here, But in between that, because I realized, like, I didn't know that there was, like, the hacking thing and all that stuff, and I had already gone to Senator Murray and Senator Cantwell's offices, as well as Congressman Smith and Congressman Kilmer's offices, and then it was one of those, and I had sent letters all sorts of ways as far as because of my Medal of Honor art project. I was like, I got this ingenious idea, which probably wasn't so ingenious, but I do best of intentions. Just like, hey, let me help where I can. So, let me just drive out to where the CIA is. I mean, I'm going to be completely respectful. I already contacted the FBI about the 688888838. 6888. Yeah, battalion. And so, and then I couldn't find the CIA. I think they found me though. I don't camo. And so, and then as I was going to go to the FBI headquarters, then I saw the sign for the NSA. I don't recommend you do this. But I did it, and I learned. And so, I was like, hi. And then, after like a whole bunch of like clearing out my purse and stuff, I was like, okay. And so, go in and, can I speak with someone from the NSA? And they're just like, okay, well, like, I think it's important. I know that they've got a bunch of stuff they're doing, but, I got techie stuff that they can have and look at. I don't know what to do with it, though. Really bad with technology. So then, went to the bathroom, and then I come out, and there was, like, a whole bunch of police officers. And I was like, hey, you guys be safe. And they're like, yeah, hey, sit. I was like, oh, did I do something wrong? Man, that's what I get for trying to be a good person. It's just gonna give the techie guys the techie stuff. Okay. Chair. And then, like, I go and speak with, like, some guy. It was just like, yeah, so what was your... And it was almost like he wanted to laugh, but he didn't. But it was almost like he wanted to. And it's like, I'm not lying. I know that this is a weird situation, but, like... It really was. It looked like he was trying to be all serious and stuff, and at the same time, he just wanted to be like, "This is actually happening." Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Sure. I know the police are. Oh, you want my keys to my car? No. We'll go over there. Oh, okay. Oh, at the NSA, yeah, you probably can unlock it by yourselves. Okay. And then, like, the building is like, hey. Hey. Oh, yes, pay attention. Yes. Yes, sir. The one part where I really think that, like, he did everything he could not to fall to the floor laughing. He got all serious, the suit guy with the NSA, and he's like, so what made you think that you could just show up to the NSA? Well, I was born in the year of the dog, and you guys are on canine, and canine is what a dog is. And it said tourist area, so I thought it was like a museum, and I could go for a tour and be like, can you help me with my turkey stuff? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, but I hadn't had a dream on Palm Sunday in 2000, I think a little oddly, so, yeah, just, like, it almost looked like he just wanted to just be like, you know what, hold on a sec, I need to laugh, and then, you know, I'll come back, because, she said that, she said that, but he didn't do that. He just told me to go and speak with the local FBI. So that's what I did. I wrote a whole bunch more letters. But going back to before I had a dream, there was this one guy that I had a crush on. His name was Adam. And he was really big into technology. And it was funny because he looked at me and he's like, Susan, I just don't think that we're compatible. I was like, okay. And he kind of just took a step back and he goes, wait a minute. Let me clarify this to you. I was like, clarify what? He goes, no. I don't want you to, you know, mistake what I just said. I was like, okay, what? What? You said we weren't compatible. Okay. I mean, I thought that we could be, but okay, my bad. And he was just like, no. Like, I just don't want you thinking I'm talking about computers. Why would I think that you're talking about computers? And he looked at me, he was like, oh my God, what did you just say? And I looked at him, I was like, why would I think that you're talking about computers? I told you I had a crush on you, and you said you didn't think we were compatible. I said, okay, what is your problem? He's like, can I give you my number? And I was like, okay. And he's like, no. My brothers are going to want to speak with you. And I was like, sure. Whatever. Okay. He's like, you can only tell the truth, right? Yeah, I can only tell the truth. When were you born? And I told him, and we talked for a little bit, and then he was like, yeah, my brothers are really going to want to speak with you, and so is one of my uncles. Do you mind? Oh, that's fine. Whatever. I was on the phone with like 5 or 6 different males over a 3-hour time frame. And yeah, I don't remember. We talked about a whole bunch of different things. They asked about like my health and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, this is allergies and stuff. They're like, oh, okay. And one of the guys, he was an older guy. He goes, so you have no problem acknowledging all that? I was like, why would I? I mean, I have eczema, sensitive skin. Like, I get it. Like, it's weird. He's like, yeah, but you literally do you understand what, like, how honest you just were? This was one of the last guys I spoke with. He's like, do you understand how honest you were? And I was like, yes, I can't lie. I can't tell a lie. I don't know why you're so surprised. And he's just like, oh my God, you're telling me the truth. And I said, yeah. I'm not trying to be mean when I ask this, but what's the big deal about me telling the truth? I can't not tell the truth. And he was just, oh, okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, you just told me the truth. You literally just told me the entire truth, and you had no problem telling me the truth. You didn't even hesitate. I was like, why would I hesitate? You asked me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth. If I know the answer, I'll tell you the truth. If I don't know the answer, well, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. But you asked me a bunch of questions that I know the answer to. So what? He was just, oh, okay, oh my God, okay, sure. You know what? I'm gonna let you finish talking with Adam, and when you're done talking with Adam, he and I are gonna talk because, oh my God, are you kidding me? And I was just like, no, I'm not joking. I told you the truth. I don't know what's wrong with this situation. And he's like, no, there's nothing wrong with this situation, but oh my God, oh my God, you exist. And I was like, yeah, so, hi. Obviously. What? What seems to be the problem? And the guy was just, oh my God, you exist. You exist. And I was like, so I do. Adam told you we go to school, right? And he's like, yes, I know, yes, he did. And so, oh my God, you exist. And I was like, yeah, so, hi. What's going on? He's like, no. He just started laughing, and I was like, okay, did I say something funny? And he's like, no, I just don't know how to process this right now, because, you exist. And I was like, yeah, I do. When I was born, what is the problem? No, nothing, no, I gotta go. Adam, get on the phone. And so, Adam and I talked for a little bit more, and then, saw him at school one day, and he came up to me, and he's like, yeah, so thanks for speaking with all those guys, they wanted me to tell you thanks. And I was like, no problem. I really don't understand why the discussion went the way it did, but, whatever. And he was just like, can you, promise me, I know you've already, I've watched how you have protected a bunch of us. And I was like, oh, you noticed that? And he's like, yeah, I saw what you did and certain stuff that you did. And you never said anything about it. And I was like, well, there were just certain things that needed to be handled, so I just handled this. And that was the end of that. And he was just like, yeah, so you're always going to be nice to good techie guys, right? Always the good techie guys. You're going to be nice to the good techie guys? Of course. Okay. Thanks. I'm like, alright, well, as long as they're good, it's cool. Better not be any bad techie guys. He's like, there should not be bad techie guys. You're right, there should not be bad techie guys. Bad techie guys are bad. And he's like, yeah. It's like... So yeah, I've had, despite, my issues with technology and stuff, especially mainly after my head injury, yeah. So, I have broken so many e-cigarettes. So there was this one time when I was smoking an e-cigarette. It was the Toro one, and it was a copper tube, and you use one finger to push the button up, and you inhale after you wove the cotton through the thing, and that really hurt. That really hurt. So I pushed the button, and the entire thing was metal. I push the button and I inhale, and there was this bright blue arc that just in between my fingers, and then the entire piece got really, really hot, and my my entire hand was like zapping. I, that's the only word I got other than like electrocuted. And then like I was inhaling because I couldn't stop, because those who have ever been electrocuted and survived understand, like, it's not like you can whatever. And so then I literally had to use my other hand to, like, despite like my entire body being electrocuted at that point, and like it literally felt like there were like just everything was being zapped, and not just like in walking around in the Washington State area, like at just each little itty bitty hair on my arm, like everything was being zapped ridiculously. It hurt so bad. I am so glad that I didn't have certain teeth stuff that was being taken care of later, because that would have been worse by a lot. I would have hurt so much more, so I'm glad that that didn't get taken care of until later, because ooh, that hurt. And at that point it was like, okay, and all of my tattoos were just each individual little dot was like, and oh, that hurt a lot. And so when I could finally, and I think it was because I didn't have a clock in the room I was kept in, so I know that it was at least 3 commercials and like 4 full newscasts of like stuff, and just finally was able to get my hands to like stop twitching, and then move the Toro thing, the e-cigarette thing, and it dropped to the ground, and I couldn't touch that for a while. It hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. But I will, and where is that? So I took pictures of this. So like I was writing about this dream I had, and it was a dream that I had. I've done videos on that one before, but like I had this dream for a very long time, and so I had never talked about this dream, because, you know, I was, with everything that I was dealing with throughout the time since that dream, and the part of the dream that I had already talked with people about, you know, nobody wanted to believe me. Like, nobody wanted to believe me that I saw the World Trade Center and the stuff with that, as far as the, whatchamacallit, I smelled fertilizer, and then I saw airplanes, and that was right before I got sick in 5th grade. And, you know, because, and everybody that I knew at the time that I had told about that dream, they were just like, oh, you know, well, there were no airplanes. And I'm like, yeah, that's only making me more nervous, because like I've had other dreams, and that just doesn't make sense. So I'm going to show you this. So when I was writing about the dream, so you see that is the charger part, that, and then you could see, like, hold on, let me, so that you see how it's like all melted and stuff. So that's like the charger part. And so I was writing about that dream with the guy with the uniform in a different area, and so there it is. See the little indentation on that. And so then, hold on, that's my son. Not this picture. So there's it. So there. Oh, son of a. There it is. So there. See. And then. Up there's it on the side, so you can see. I'll make it bigger. It's funny because that's red, white, and blue. But yeah. So there's a little charger thing. It's stuck in there. Burnt that bad. Yeah, I did that. And so there's the little charger cord thing, and I did that. I gave that to the vapor flavor place because I didn't know what to do. I had to wait for the oh, there's that. That's right there. Yeah. And then see right there. See that what happened? Yeah. That's what I did.
not on purpose. I was writing about that dream about the guy. Ooh, shit. So there's that. And so see, I did that. Yep. And so, yep, I did that. And it was when I was writing about that dream I had with the guy. But that's my son. Okay, so I gotta do this. Here's my son. I'm so proud of him. Here's my James. He graduated that day and took him, well, that week, but or that month. But yeah, so I was writing about a dream when the e-cigarette thing did that. I smelt the burning and took it out of the wall, and the e-cigarette was really, 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 really hot. I took those pictures much later because I was afraid of what was going to happen. And so, yeah, I actually messed up the last one that's like that. See, it's missing the little thingamabob. I mean, it still charges, but you know. I mean, by technicalities, the e-cigarettes that I've got, they have lasted longer in the state of Texas than they did in the state of Washington for me. I mean, I have to charge them more, but yeah. Yep. So that's my issues with technology in a nutshell.